Welcome back to the Changing Earth podcast with author Sarah F. Hathaway and co-host Chen Gibson. Blending survival, fiction, and fact to bring you entertaining education that will help you dream, survive, and thrive. And now, here's your host, Sarah F. Hathaway and Chen Gibson.
Hello, and welcome back to the Changing Earth podcast. This is episode number 338. Hey, Chen, what's up?
Hey, chin's up.
And enjoying a pretty nice day. Yesterday was much better, but pretty nice today.
Oh, it's gorgeous today.
Yeah. So, but we're looking at one more cold snap here coming in before, it's all hands on deck for the gardens and things like that. So, one more cold snap. And hopefully it doesn't, the trees, they haven't started budding enough to get really messed up by it. I want peaches this year.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Last year was kind of devastational with the freeze late in the year. So, hoping for the best.
Peach cobbler.
Yes.
Oh,
and,
peach cobbler.
we jarred enough the first year we were here that we still have peach jam and everything, but there's so many more yummy things you can do with that. And it's time to restock, honestly. So. But I'm really banking on tomatoes and cucumbers this year again. I just have to devise a way to grow awesome tomato plants and cucumbers in Texas because I need the stocks on my shelf, man. Finally have jars, but no cucumbers to put them in pickles.
I shared pictures with you. I get in on some pig action.
Yeah.
Got some protein in my freezer. Oh my goodness, is that good stuff?
Right. Oh, dude, the bacon when you raise your own pig. Oh my gosh.
Oh, we haven't done the bacon yet, but I had the sausage. I had some pork chop kind of cut.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good stuff.
Really good stuff. That's what I'm working on. I'm working on my husband. Babe, we need to fence this area so we can get a pig this year. Yeah. So we'll see how that works out. But I definitely love having the fresh pork. It's so good. Mm-hmm. And I can barter it, because there's not many people who actually raise pigs here. So I'm thinking I could trade it for beef,
Yes, you don't have the same thing, just one thing in the freezer. Mix it up a bit.
Right. And some of the beef out here, the grass-fed, just farm-raised beef. Oh, my gosh. It's so good.
Yeah.
It just melts in your mouth. So much better. Like the store, I don't know what's going on with the store. Maybe it's all the stuff they're shooting animals up with these days and whatnot. But, I'm like, I'm sorry. I raise my own stuff, and this just isn't natural. You know what I'm saying? So. Oh,
the sausage was like eating like a hamburger as opposed to eating all that grizzle and crunchy stuff. It's just such better quality.
It is. It is. Well, last week we had the big event with Dr. Bones on the show. That was a fun show.
The doctor, yeah. We got some accolades for that. People were saying it was a good show.
Oh, all right. Yeah, it always gets me. Personally, I always find so much value in it, even going back to the basics and doing a show like that, because it just gets me thinking about different facets that I was like, oh, man, I've really left that out of my game plan. I got to, pick up the pieces there. So, and one of the things was I always was going to order his book. I was going to order his book, and I did obviously get the ebook, but I don't take much stock. I want paper to hold in my hand, So I did go and order the full color version of his book. So I at least have that on hand. And then I'm going after one of those dental kits.
Yeah, that dental kit. Never really thought much about it. But
right?
Might need to.
But
especially
important.
Since I've cracked like 2 teeth in my life, so
yeah,
something about I don't know.
I think it's worth it because that would just suck. Like, what are you gonna try and do it with a wrench or whatever? And that these problems are gonna crop up. And he's right. Like toothaches are the worst.
Yeah, and if you don't do it right, I already said if you don't do it right, you leave part of it in there, and then you get all infections and stuff.
Oh, and I've seen people with abscesses in their mouth, and you can get actual heart problems and everything from that. So, it definitely got me thinking. And then I've always been kind of planning on the clean room, the I kind of had it figured out where we used to live, and I'm like, wow, I've never really thought about that in this house. Like, where would that room be? How would we lay that out? So that was all good stuff.
And the difference between like the wound room, treatment room, and the illness treatment room.
Right.
Yeah.
That's just space, and you're like, how am I going to swing that one? But it seems like when the things like that go down, though, everybody just kind of naturally.
You got a trailer.
Oh, that's true.
You got a trailer. You got a garage. We're making this all work.
Oh, that's true. That's true. I was thinking about the garage, but
just call Chin's
Chin's organizational service.
That's right.
Brought to you by
today's sponsor.
Yeah. So, guys, if you want to check out all those show notes, head on over changingearthseries.com. I have tons and tons of materials to learn from over there. It just got a fresh new look, and I've been getting some new subscribers lately, so I really appreciate you guys helping the changing earth world go round. We put a lot of time.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah, we put a lot of time and energy into bringing the show and then all the stuff that I'm working on in the background. So I really appreciate that, you guys, when you can lend a helping hand there. So it's changingearthseries.com. Like I say, got a new layout for the website, so I'd love to hear your feedback on that.
And it's fun to interact with the readers and the listeners.
So much fun.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's one of the things that drove our relationship the most was when you would just, text me about
stop typing you.
Yeah, what was going on in the book and everything. And I'm like, yes, I love to go on that ride with my readers. It's just spectacular. I mean, I don't think there's very much besides my family that brings me more joy in the world than going on that ride. So yeah, that's always awesome. Thank you, Chin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's fun.
All right, so today we're going to get back to some fiction. We're working on that. That's an active search in the backdrop. We haven't decided if we're going to do more of a current book or go back to some of the past material. If you guys know an author out there that you're specifically interested, we might take a look at that. We're trying to find a good fit for some fiction content to bring you until the next episode of or next season of the audio drama is available. So if you guys have any ideas, I'm leaning towards the Little House on the Prairie novels because a lot of us haven't read them in a long time. And those things are so full of knowledge, survival knowledge, that we can apply, use the same techniques and adapt to today's circumstances. They're really, really valuable that way. So that's kind of where I'm leaning.
It's so cool how those books and shows are always trying to plant the seed,
right?
People thinking
exactly
in entertainment,
at the same time, which is you just learn.
Sounds familiar concept.
Yeah, exactly. You just learn that way. It's incredible, and you retain it longer, in my opinion. But today, spring is on the way, and we are talking spring cleaning. So time to knock the dust off. The days are going to get longer. And we got work to do. So while we're still enjoying the last little bit of this cold, it's a great time to check out the go bag. One of the things I found out during prepper camp the first year was that my go bag is not nearly as waterproof as I thought it was. Yeah. So
prepper camp can be like that some years.
Yes, it can. Yeah, last year was beautiful, but the first year,
perfect.
Man, it was wet.
Yeah.
So I've taken to putting everything into Ziploc bags now and having extra Ziploc bags because when, you can use them, they come in handy for so many things. I still haven't tried to boil the freezer bag. That one, we learned about doing your own food preparation. I still haven't tried that. I'm interested in that, but I'm also kind of afraid at the same time.
Right? Yeah, I'm not sure. We always use the Ziploc bags. So we've got all different big sizes. You can buy large ones if you look for them. And because I like them because you can put your clothes in and then you can roll it and squeeze all the air out, and then it really compacts whatever you're putting.
That's just where I was going with it.
Yeah,
because I had to do
great.
all the Ziploc bags. I'm like, wow, this stuff packs down way better.
On purpose, yeah.
Yeah.
And then after a couple days in, you got some extra bags you could use for other stuff,
That and
my wife saw at camp, she always likes put the books when we buy books. She always puts them in the Ziploc bag so they don't get ruined while we're camping.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. That was first year book sales at prepper camp was all Ziploc bags. Everybody was coming to me for Ziploc bags because I just bought like a million of them.
Yeah.
But Ziploc and bag your clothes. Also, when your clothes are soiled and stuff, like you don't want to put them in next to your clean clothes and that. You like try and keep your stuff clean for as long as possible till you have to do wash. So having those extra Ziploc bags is a great bonus there too, because you can put your soiled clothes in there. So anyway, we're going to swirl on a lot of this because there's a lot of topics to talk about and a lot of things that we know about it. So cleaning out the go bag though, making sure that, you grab a headlamp out of there, you grab a flashlight out of there, you grab a knife out of there, you grab
batteries.
Right. Batteries. Yes.
Check your batteries.
Lighters.
Charge your rechargeables.
Yep. Things like that. So make sure that whatever you've removed, you replace. Check expiration dates on any kind of your bars, whether that be granola bars or survival bars. What are those things called? Ration bars.
Yeah, rations.
Ration bars. Yeah. Check the dates on those, and then check them too for like perforation. If something maybe accidentally stabbed it or whatever. Sometimes I keep my fishing rod in there because it's a collapsible one. It's like the hooks into things and whatnot. Yeah, I had a debacle with that one time. So make sure that that's all shored up and taken care of. Oh, let's see. First aid kit inside of your go bag. Sometimes you're out of stuff in your household and you go into the go bag to get the stuff. So make sure you recheck that first aid kit as well. We're going to go deeper into first aid, but make sure you shore that one up while you're at it. Anything that's expired, that kind of stuff. When it comes to kids, they should have their own bags as soon as they're old enough to carry them. I mean,
keep your kids in a bag?
Yeah. Put your kid, well, depends on the size of the kid, because that might be the case. You got one on the front, your go bag on the back, right? We were thinking about that when, Christian was little. All the extra stuff you have to carry. So I have a baby bug out show. If you guys have a youngster, you want to check that out. I actually did a baby bug out show to help people with planning how to carry extra gear with the kid and everything like that. But as soon as they're big enough, they should be carrying their own bag. They can help out with, taking stuff. And as they grow, obviously the things that are in their bag change. If your kid's not old enough to carry a knife, he's not going to have a knife in his bag, So it should be like a basic first aid kit, things like that at the start. If you don't want them to have a ferro rod yet, you got to wait till they're age appropriate on some things. Whatever is in their bag, make sure they know how to use it. Don't just like stick a bunch of stuff in their bag and then they have no idea what to do with any of it when they get out there and are looking at what's this for? Make sure they know how to use those things. The other thing about kids is as they get bigger, their clothes need to get bigger. So there's things you might have in their go bag that don't even fit them anymore. That's kind of where we are with Christian right now. We have to go through his because, he hits those growth spurts. Yeah.
All of his pants are shorts now.
Exactly. And they don't fit around the waist anymore. Yeah. So make sure that I always take, because I have clothes from Fletcher getting bigger.
Yeah.
So I take some of the things that are too big and actually put them in the go bag. That way it gives me a little extra time, to deal with that. Toys. I'm always a big advocate for having, some toys that the kid actually likes to play with in the go bag because, man, if you were out there in it and they didn't have a toy, they didn't have nothing, they're learning how to play with a hoop and a stick.
Just be misery.
Exactly. Yeah. And obviously those toys are going to evolve as they get older as well. All right, household medical kits. So we went through this one last week. I got my eye on one of those kits. I got to see what the tax return looks like. Because, I got my eye on the big 4-person urban survival kit not the urban kit. The ultimate, it's called. Or something like that. That's the one I have my eye on. But you can never have enough medical supplies. So get your stuff. Keep stocking your stuff. We were at MMA the other night, and I was wrapping up somebody's toe with that self-adhesive ace bandage tape.
They break their toe?
Yeah. When you rub on the mats too much, sometimes your toe splits on the bottom. Mm-hmm. So I was telling them, if you want to buy it cheaper, buy it from the feed store, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, because they have like huge rolls for the horses and everything. And my trainer was like, do you know how much gauze and all of the stuff I've bought? Like, how did you learn this? I'm like, do you really need to ask that question? Not only was I born in country, but it is what I do.
Yeah, that horse wrap stuff.
Yes.
It's great for...
Yeah, for all kinds of ailing joints, that kind of thing. You can get a way bigger roll, much cheaper. Hydrogen peroxide. You can buy it for you buy these huge jugs of it for cheap at the feed store, like $2, So last time I bought it, I think I got a 4-pack that I'm still working on for like $4. It was like $1 a half gallon or something. So obviously it's going to change a little bit over time because of what the time we're in, but it's still going to be your best bet. You don't have to go to CVS, get creative.
Yeah, I think outside the box for sure. Yep.
Exactly. So inventory, kind of what you used, what you need to replace, take note of like what you use often, and just, 2 is 1 is none. So when you buy 1, buy 2, that's a great way to inexpensively build up your stocks as you go.
And watch for sales too. A lot of times, like drugstores and stuff will have the chain stores will have sales and stuff. Mm-hmm. If you can hit those right or hit the clearance shelves, every time I go into a store, I go to the clearance shelves just to check.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Mm-hmm.
Also, like people who teach medical classes and things like that, sometimes they'll have expired products. Mm-hmm. And I mean, when you're stocking and you just need to stock and stock and stock, there's nothing wrong with some products that are expired. So they have all kinds of rules and whatnot they have to work with, but we don't.
Yeah. Nope.
Mm-hmm. So think about areas you can improve upon. We were kind of talking about this pre-show about, the interview that we had with Dr. Bones was so good because it was, enlightening to some of the areas that are like, oh man, I've been slacking on that. I need to,
the dental
kit.
Yeah, that's not even in I have a toothbrush and a toothpaste. That's all I got.
Right? Yeah, floss. Every time I get like the free pack from my dentist, I just put it away. I have enough toothpaste to for an army for a year.
Those little toothpaste tubes that they give out. Yeah.
Yep. I just save them all. So God knows how old they are. But they're there.
But come on, is it going to go? How bad is that going to
go? Right. Tarps for like the clean rooms and that. So really, tarps are another thing that you could not have enough of.
Tarps or that construction, the rolls of plastic.
You can buy the rolls.
That'd be a lot cheaper than tarps.
Yep, heck yeah. Yeah, that plastic. You just buy a roll.
It's really thick plastic.
Fold it out.
Yeah, I forget what it's called. There's a name for it.
But as far as like making those areas that are easy to clean up when sick people are laying there and stuff, how great would it be to have a few rolls of that stuff around?
Oh yeah, for sure.
You need it. So that's a great thing. Suture kits, thinking about your medical, like who's the medic when you're on the move? Yeah, you're all carrying bullets, you're all carrying this, you're all carrying that, but who's the actual medic? And what kind of supplies do they have for doing that job on the go? So that was one thing that I was like, ooh, we're severely lacking there. And then knowledge. It's springtime. Make a commitment to yourself that you're going to learn, 3 new medical techniques this summer. I'm going to learn to tie a suture. I'm going to learn how to pull a tooth. I'm going to learn how to, troubleshoot a respiratory something, right? So if you have Dr. Bones' book, it's probably not too tough to sit there and pick some things and go, that's what I'm learning this year. So it's a good time to just kind of assess that and set some goals for yourself. I like springtime goals better than New Year's goals. New Year's goal seems hokey and like a fad. But springtime's like, okay, I'm ready to go. Let's bring on the longer days.
You're a mess.
Right?
Same difference.
I know,
it is.
It is. But I just like looking at it that way. That's all. All right, so I was reading through prepperjournal.com had a good article for spring cleaning, and one of the things that I picked up there that I didn't really think about was your water storage. It's probably time to rotate it out. I use a lot of like empty tea jugs. My son drinks a lot of Arnold Palmer tea.
Yeah.
And those jugs are really thick and nice, right?
The gallon jugs?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those are good ones.
Yeah. So it's better than a milk jug by far. Yeah,
for sure.
Mm-hmm. So I've really taken to those lately. And so I'm looking at my shelf like, okay, what am I going to get rid of? What am I going to keep? And, some didn't get rinsed out very well. So they have like the green floating. I'm like, I don't know about that.
I want to go water a plant.
Yeah, exactly. So good time to just kind of take an assessment of your water, change it out. When the stuff goes down, you don't want to be having water that's been there for 5 years and you open it up and it's just nasty.
If you're doing your own water, you could do that, whatever, quarterly or whatever works.
Right. Just take the time to actually do it.
Yeah.
Think about investing in maybe some stabilizer if you are going to store it longer. And then chlorine tabs are always better than liquid. In my opinion, they just store longer.
Easier.
So we actually use the tabs for various things around our house because of the type of septic system we have and things like that. So if you're like us and you do actually dip into that well sometimes, it's time to restock. Make sure you have enough on the back end because that stuff is going to be worth its weight in gold in a collapse scenario. You got to have clean water. One of the things they mentioned there too was cleaning out the rainwater catch system. So if you have a rainwater catch system, it's probably a good time of year. Put some bleach in there, give it a good scrub down, clean it out. Once the days get warmer, you don't mind getting wet, that kind of thing. And just take the moment to shore that up. Food and seeds, kind of self-explanatory. Canned foods always first in, first out.
Yep.
But, sometimes things get pushed to the back. And so it's time to find those things that are in the back, see what date is on it. Just give your pantry a good clean out. Make sure that you haven't had anything that got, I don't know if you have weevils in your end of the country there, but make sure that you haven't had any of that happening or any kind of varmints or anything in your storage areas.
Extra protein.
Yeah. No, I'm good. I'm good. Thanks. What long-term things that you usually have on hand are you lacking? The other day, we ran out of rice in our house.
What?
Yes.
And you call yourself a prepper.
I know. I was like, epic fail. Boom. I just haven't been cooking it that often, and like nobody told me. Usually we have like bags of it back, and I was like, oh my gosh, we're out of rice. So it was a shocker. It was a shocker. So make sure, you have your rice, you have your beans, you have those things that you store, your old cans of Spam, that kind of stuff. The things that you store for those long-term needs are still there.
I'm starting to see Spam commercials on TV.
I know. They had a Spam chapstick. Spam flavored chapstick.
It's like, oh my goodness.
I was just, no. No. All right. Your long-term foods, how long have you been storing them? There's times when it's time to rotate those out even. Yeah, they have a 20-year life, so I'm talking to some of the more experienced preppers here for sure. But there does come a time when it's time to rotate even long-term food storage. Plan a camping trip. Take it out and eat it and see, how much you liked that product. Would you buy it again, kind of thing. Seeds, of course, seeds are first in, first out kind of thing as well. I always recommend you have them for 3 years. So you're going to be taking one off the shelf that you had for storage, and you're going to be replacing it with new seeds from this year. So make sure that you actually rotate them and that you have them. They're very important. Even if you live in the city and you think, oh my gosh, there's no reason I should ever need seeds, get the seeds anyway. They don't
take up a lot of room.
Exactly.
Not hard to store.
Exactly.
And do a little patio garden or just grow some in a container. We did that.
Yep.
The past couple of years because we're in like a townhouse. So we just grew some out on the porch just to
practice.
Practice. Exactly.
Yep. Yeah. Get familiar with it now.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something you can just jump into. Let me tell you, I've been at it for years. And every year, it's like there's something that throws you a curveball, So definitely practice is always good, and you have to stay practiced at it.
And it'll let you see if your seed, like your supplier, is a good one.
Exactly.
We found one was good, and then the other year wasn't that good, so we tried a different one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. I'm a big fan of Burpee Seeds.
Mm-hmm.
I really love that company. I don't get like anything from them or anything, but love their seeds. So actually this year I'll probably just buy seeds to further my stocks and fresh ones to put in the ground just because I need the tomatoes and cucumbers so bad. I can't have it not happen this year. Mm-hmm. So either that or I'm going to have to go hit farmers markets like a banshee, and I'd rather just grow it myself.
Yeah.
All right, next one on the list. Get the guns out. Yeah, I love it. Get your firearms out. Get to the range. Do some practice. Ammo is first in, first out as well. So ammo does have an expiration date on it, especially our new types of ammo. You can find old ammo that's actually better because they didn't used to age it out. But our ammo does have a shelf life, so make sure that the new stuff you're buying is going to the back and your old stuff's getting used up. It's just time to make sure those skills are sharp. And then even if you aren't like out shooting those guns and stuff, it's a good time to clean them, knock the dust off of them.
Put some more, oil them down.
Yep, break it down, put it back together. It's good practice. You might not have YouTube in the future.
Just kind of put an eye on it, make sure no rust is forming.
Exactly. Well, YouTube always helps me with breaking down my guns and putting them back together. So the more you do it, the more you're going to remember how to do it, right?
Yeah.
You just have to, the more you do, the more you do. So actually, probably the shotgun is one of the easier ones, but you'd think it's more complicated. But it's really not. The pump action.
Yeah. No, that's not bad.
So guns need to be cleaned. They need to be cared for all the time. So make sure that you're putting eyes on them. And like you say, get the rust off of them. Get some oil on them. Give them some love. All right, car kits. Your car kit might have gotten a little used and abused over the wintertime. So it's time to make sure that you're ready for the summer, antifreeze, storing away the winter items, and making sure you have those summer items to keep your car healthy. And then if you've, used your jumper cables here and there, you didn't put them back in your kit, or, taking a flashlight out, that kind of thing, make sure everything, that kit is shored up as well.
Yep.
It's a good time to look at your emergency binder. Some people's numbers may have changed. Some of your scheduled, things that you do may have changed. Just some of your emergency parameters for your house. If it's not evolving, you're dead. I mean, if you're not evolving, you're dying. So your binder, your emergency preparedness binder should always be evolving as well. So update your notebook. What numbers have you changed? What do you need to update there? And what skills, what procedures do you need to add to that notebook for your family, for your loved ones, just in case you weren't present? Alrighty, one that's not very fun, but it's time to do a financial review as well. Because we have taxes coming up, right? So it's a good time. You're going to have to sit down and look at what's going on anyway for your taxes. Constantly developing a plan to get out of debt. You can't be storing stuff back unless, you're really managing your financial situation as well. Everything takes money and time, and whatever you have more of, that's what you got to work with. So one thing that I was thinking of is all these monthly subscriptions that we have. Sometimes they add up. And sometimes we totally forget we're even doing that.
Yep.
Right? So, you should definitely help provide for those people who are feeding you information that you're, getting value out of. But if you're not getting value out of it anymore, it's time to, analyze what's going on there with your bank account and take care of that.
And even like cable TV or all those.
Yes. Yeah, the little ones that they stack the things in there. Yeah.
You could either review your phone plans and stuff to see if there's better ones out there.
Mm-hmm. Insurance.
Yep. Insurance. Yep. Review.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Time to just do some reviews. And, one thing at a time, one step at a time, you'll be up the mountain. So use these last bits of, cold weather where we're kind of short in a little bit to take care of some of the indoor activities so you're ready for the outdoor activities when it comes up. Next thing is we're coming out of hibernation. It's time to get your body moving again, get your body strong again. Yes. So make a commitment to yourself that you're going to learn a new fighting style or a new skill and practice that. Put your mind to it, make a commitment to yourself, and make that happen. This really helps to test your mental strength. I mean, can you think of anything more pressing than if we didn't have our current society, all the eases of our lives these days? If that was all stripped away from us, you don't think that's going to test your mental strength to the very edge? So exercise is a great way to get used to pushing yourself and just knowing what you can take and what your limits are. You're another year older kind of thing. Where are your limits this year? So it's good stuff to know. And I encourage you to get out and at least get walking, that kind of thing. Chin, hint, with a fighting style. Fighting style. One fighting style. Just one.
What'd you say? We need to make sure we clean our guns?
Yeah. I mean, that counts. Trust me. I've been thinking about that. I'm like, I know my hands a lot, but I need to improve a couple of firearm skills as well. So that does count. However, if there's no ammo, all you have is a club in your body. So also your community. Think about your community. How can you help your community become prepared? Just us having eggs and being able to help the neighbors and things like that. Everybody was so tickled silly, and every little bit counts. The more that you can just kind of give now and get people excited and interested in the idea of, oh man, I could be doing that too. Why am I buying this at the store, right? The more you can plant those little seeds along the way without being preachy, the better. So find out how you can get your community prepared. Make a new friend. So, this comes from, I used to discuss survival and whatnot with a lot of homeless people. How are they living? Learning how to live and experiencing their life because they're surviving every day out there on that street, or refugees that are on the move. How have they been surviving? That kind of thing. And it doesn't have to be physical. You don't have to physically go out and meet somebody. Pick up a book. There's lots of great books on these topics that, you get an inside peek to somebody's survival story, and you can learn a lot from that. The wars. And that came out of a great article that was on primalsurvivor.net. They had a really good article there. It was 11 preparedness spring cleaning items you don't normally think about. And some were a little but some of them, that was a cool one about meeting new friends, And I was like, that always helps open the mind up to new possibilities.
Yeah. Who's it? Like Selko and
Selko.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was in the Bosnian War, I believe.
I read that book. That's
yeah. Right? And it just gets you thinking about things that you're like, I couldn't even fathom that before I looked through their eyes at this experience.
Mm-hmm.
Plan a survival trip. So survival camping trips, leave the trailer at home. It's a great way to keep your skills sharp, to know how to handle waste in a survival situation, which is a serious consideration that many of us never even think about. Okay. It's a great way to just revisit nature and refresh your mind and those family bonds, and then consider taking your survival group with you. It's really going to give you like a dose of, can I survive with these people longer than a weekend, So there'll be some people you're like, no way. And others you're like, yep, that's good. So it's a great test to see ahead of time. So start making the plans now. If you don't do it and you don't set it in stone, then usually it doesn't happen. All right. And then finally on the list is stuff doesn't equal survival. So just because you have the best gadgets and the biggest food supply and everything else, that doesn't mean you're going to survive. So stuff always runs out and you have to replenish it. So plan to learn something new. Like I said, if you're not evolving, you're not expanding, you're dying. So keep learning, keep going. For me personally, I'm interested in making some vinegar this year. I've always wanted to do that. Yeah. And I think I'm going to do it this year. And then I might even figure out a distillation system for it that's legal, that looks legal and doesn't look like moonshining. Because that's what you use for canning. So what I'm thinking about is long-term survival situation. I go to the store and I buy gallons of distilled vinegar and I store them, but eventually it'll run out. How do I replenish that myself?
Yeah.
Right?
It's good for a lot of stuff. It's good for cleaning and everything else.
Yeah. So this year, I think I learned all about it last year, about the mother and all that, or a couple years ago, probably now, because I put it in the bitter end. But
vinegar in the bitter end.
Yeah, and making it. Yeah, yeah. No pun intended. But yeah, I think this year I want to get hands-on and really learn how to make my own vinegar. I think that'd be cool. So
I think I should plant that bug in Rick's ear that you want to teach a class in vinegar this year.
No, I don't want to teach you. No,
you need another class added to your repertoire.
No, I'm definitely not to instructor level yet. I could do self-defense all day, but urban survival, yeah, I got that one. But yeah, no, I'm definitely the novice student there. I'll be like, here's this clumpy.
wait, my Wi-Fi is down. I need YouTube to continue the class.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you for joining Sarah and Chen for this episode of the Changing Earth podcast. Don't forget to pick up your copy of Day After Disaster at www.authorSarahFHathaway.com. If you love the Changing Earth series and podcast,